Good day, everyone. I'm Joshua Prince, and you are listening to FinChat StartupStories, where I interview entrepreneurs about how they got the ideas and how they built their businesses in this difficult South African environment. Joining me today are two entrepreneurs whose product I actually use. I'm extremely excited to have them on the podcast today. It was about a year and a half ago when my girlfriend bought me a pair of their socks, and I absolutely was blown away by it. I loved the look, I love how it felt, and it had this incredible design on it. So I really felt I had to have them on the podcast. They got the idea back in 2013 on a bike ride, and from that idea, they've built their business to launch in Australia and in Great Britain, all over the world. But without further ado, Hanno and Jurgens, welcome to FinChat.
Hi Joshua, thanks a lot for having us.
Thanks Joshua, thanks for having us.
So excited to have you on. So, VersusSocks is a basic active sock brand which focuses, well, when I look at it, I really love the design. I think that's what makes it unique. Is that a good way to describe it? How would you describe VersusSocks?
Yes, so overall, we basically want to bring the sport and the fashion, the two ends basically together. That's how the business started as well, is we just weren't happy with the options that were available in the market. You basically had an option of a black or a white sock, and that was it. And yeah, we just decided that there's scope in the market for having a wide variety of designs, of colors available, and yeah, to bring that active part, a part of it, because you had your fun, let's call it funky socks, was available in more your corporate wear or business wear. There wasn't really something for the active market. And socks, being active ourselves, we know how important socks are. So yeah, it's important for us to have a comfortable sock that can be used while being active, running, cycling, whatever. But yeah, to also give people options in colors and designs that can fit their personality or the clothes that they wear while being active.
Yeah, I think it's exactly like you say there. Like, socks is so important in any active sport out of water. Because my girlfriend bought me those socks because I was struggling with blisters, and socks are so important and it's so unique to every person. You need a proper sock to run or to cycle.
Exactly.
But you guys got your idea, what I've read is you got it on a bike ride that you did. But I think a big problem with starting a business, a lot of people can have a lot of ideas, but having actually the follow through to start the business from the idea is something else. I think I saw on Instagram once where they call people who just have ideas. And I think I sometimes also fall into that, is being a one-entrepreneur, where if you actually start a business, you're an entrepreneur. But how did you guys get from the idea? What was the first steps that you took from that bike ride to actually get your first design sold?
Yeah, so we big fans of that. Exactly how you say is, a lot of people can have ideas, but to actually execute, that's where the main part lies. And that was our thing in the beginning as well. We had this idea and we basically sat together and whipped out the calculators and made some basic calculations, not overthinking the whole thing. And just through our calculations, we saw, okay, there is a business opportunity, let's go for it. So steps after that was basically to find a manufacturer that can actually make the socks for us. And we managed to get a manufacturer that can make good quality socks, and it's all locally made. So we're supporting the local economy as well.
How did you find a supplier? Did you just Google?
It was through contacts we got it. So yeah, basically people that know other people, and we got the supplier. But it was a thing of, you had to test the supplier's quality and who can really provide a sports sock and not just a general basic sock. So we had to play around as well. And for a lot of the suppliers, it was something new in the sport, or having a sport specific sock. And so we had to guide them a lot in what we wanted. But after that process, we got the right suppliers and started from there, basically with samples, and then it was all bootstrapping from there, learning ourselves how to make a website and the systems and all of that. But our main thing was just to get started and basically have a business. We didn't have a big 5-year or 10-year plan or any of that. It was basically, let's just get started, and we take it from there.
And how did you get your first customers? How did you make those first sales?
So social media has always been a big part of our business. So before we actually got our first sample, we started on social media and started telling the story of we seeing this gap in the market and basically getting people involved, showing them our process as well, getting our first sample, sharing it with them, getting their feedback. So when we launched our website, January 2015, we already had a bit of a following on social media. So when we launched it, that was basically our first client.
So you went like onto Instagram, I presume, where you literally took pictures of the different socks or the ideas that you have, some designs that you have, and you posted that on Instagram or Facebook, and you gained followers, and then from that you launched online.
Yes, and so when we started out, we were just a cycling sock brand. So that was our main focus, as myself and Jurgens was big into cycling. We knew the market very well, and from our own personal platforms, we could launch it, and we knew who the right people in the market was to speak to, basically. So from the get-go, we had that client base, basically, and basically started selling to our friends as well, and the word basically spread from there.
And I assume you also asked like some of your cycling buddies to post it on their social medias and get you some traction on it.
Exactly. You have to get your friends involved in business.
Yeah, I'm so excited actually that you mentioned that, because I think especially due to COVID, we've seen that there's a massive opportunity in e-commerce. And like you said, Versus now launched basically on an e-commerce basis of building a brand and selling online. Where we've seen that e-commerce have grown in the last 5 years from 6% of all retail sales was online to where it's now at 25%, and I think it's properly growing into the future. So there's a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurs to start e-commerce businesses and start selling online, selling products directly to consumers like you guys are doing. So do you have some tips actually on that specific social media strategy that you had, like the timing and what the content was exactly that you put out, something that people can learn from?
In the beginning, I must say, launching online was a must for us. We needed a website, but online was actually a bit too slow for us, so that's why we went the wholesale option of getting retailers stocking our product, and then with the online always open. So the new word they're using is omni-channel, so you've got both options, retail, wholesale, and then obviously your online store. So for us, the online was definitely growing, and your options are so open. You can sell to the world on your online site, but also retail is still very fast in South Africa. We are still not there yet on a level where we can purely just put our focus on our online store. But yes, online and this whole COVID thing really boosted the online store a lot. So I think South Africa in general can be happy. The e-commerce guys really saw the growth now in the recent stages with the COVID thing.
Yeah. So, and then, so like you said, okay, so where does most of your sales come from? Does it still come from the shops, like your wholesale business to business sales?
Oh, yes, wholesale is still a very big part of our business. It's just your distribution in South Africa. If you are in the bigger retailers, your distribution is very good there. Obviously, your margin isn't that good, but still retailing is a big thing. And the malls, there's so much malls in South Africa, and people still like to go shopping and feel that physical to see
Yeah.
that physical product and have that in-store retail therapy.
And
So yes, I think it's still.
and how did you actually make the connection with the retailers to sell your products directly to them to get them into the chain stores and big stores?
I must say that was a big challenge. So we actually launched a brand. You get the expos, so we go to the August expos and Cape Town marathons. So that was an easy way for us to get almost like a low risk option. So you go to an expo 3 days, it's your target market, you sell to them. And still, it's difficult to be recognized. You just don't walk into a retailer and say, I've got a nice catalog, I've got products, please sell it. It's a difficult. People want to see that you actually can do before they're gonna commit to your brand. So yeah, it wasn't the first year that we got any recognition from bigger chain stores. Even in our second year, we got a phone call from Sportsman's Warehouse. That was a big breakthrough for us too.
Yeah.
So they said they will distribute nationwide our product, and
So that was
yes,
obviously a massive opportunity.
that was big for us. That instant boost in distribution of our product, and it's much more easier available for our clients. It's difficult to just go online. You still need that traffic to go to your site, where if you are in store, and a client walks in the door, you got a very good chance that person going to see your product.
Yeah. So you you obviously had to prove that you do make some online sales. Can you give me like an indication how many pairs of socks you sold about in your first year that actually started giving you the traction to get the attention from Sportsman's Warehouse?
It was not specifically pairs sold. I think it was more a thing of making noise.
Okay.
We and I think that's where, like, to just elaborate on what Jurgen said, a lot of people think that when they start the business, that day one they want to go to the big retailers and get into them, but that's not the case. You must, as Jurgen said, you must first show them you are a brand, you are a product that people want, and a product that people will go into their store to actually buy there. So for us, it was a thing of just building the brand from day one and to get people in our socks, basically. So yeah, it was, and that was our thing from day one, is to make that noise, and we were a new entrant into the market in South Africa. There was always a brand that had a big monopoly in the market, and when we came into the market as a new fresh brand, we definitely got the attention of a lot of guys and the retailers as well.
So would you say that your product specifically made more noise by the uniqueness and the differentiated offering that you offered, rather than having a lot of online sales?
Correct. We got a good traction into the cycling market. So that definitely gave us a boost. But also selling in the beginning, it was a thing of, we were available in the cycling shops in South Africa as well, and that also basically got the attention from them. So I think it is a mix of a lot of things. Our social media, the being in other retailers, being online, having that presence all over, was the thing that caught the attention.
On that, the first year was a lot of, you go to independent stores, you can walk in with samples, you negotiate with them. It's easy to get your product on the market. And then obviously if you go to the bigger guys, it's a different story. But they always say, you can't go to them, they will come to you. And yes, after 2 years, they called us, and we got that distribution from them. But in the beginning, it's a lot. It's easy for everybody to have a brand. You open an online store, you have a nice catalog, and you feel, yes, the bigger retailers or bigger people are going to see you, but there's a lot of those people. People want to see execution from your side. What can you do? What do you really believe in your own product? And even if you walk in your first few months, walk into a retailer, how can they I don't know
accept
the
you
word, sorry.
and want to distribute you.
Yes, it's just they don't, you don't actually believe, you believe in your product, but they need more stuff to see. I mean, they're going to spend a lot of money on you. They can't take the risk for a brand that have you show, can you do that volumes? Do you have a big business behind it? Can you, yes, work on that scale? So it's a risk for them as well to just buy into a smaller brand.
Yeah, that makes 100% sense. And I also think getting that exposure in sports warehouse specifically also builds a lot of brand value for you, because if such a big retailer accepts your product and says, yes, I'm backing you, I'm putting you on my shelves, it's almost like crediting the product, saying, yes, this is a proper product. I want my customers to have it. So yeah, that also probably helped you in your online sales. Did you see your online sales pick up after that big deal?
It was a steady growth from there. The getting into sports was definitely a big thing for us, and just having our product on the shelves in 45 stores across the country and making it easier for the client to get the product as well. Most people know where their closest sports warehouse is. If you need a pair of socks and you know the Versus brand, then it is easy for you to go to the shop and buy it there. Overall, in, as you said, with giving you that plug basically, or giving you that stamp of approval from Sportsman's Warehouse was also great for us.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. But like you've guys been saying, like branding is incredibly important when you start specifically apparel and things like that, to be in retail stores. And now with COVID, you guys have been taking steps to build that brand and get your reach out there, to get more people to see your brand through these virtual runs and cycles that you do. Let's talk a bit about that. Where did you come up with the idea, and what was the actual strategy behind it?
So just before the lockdown started, we had the Cape Town Cycle Tour Expo in the beginning of March. And while we were at the expo, we actually heard about the first COVID case in South Africa. And then within 2 weeks, it was locked down, and we heard that all events will be cancelled. And with the events, there's normally an expo that go with it, and that's always a big part of our business, is to go to these expos. You are in the face of your target market. You sell directly to them. You can tell them about your product. So when we heard that the event will be cancelled, we basically sat around the table and said, okay, we're losing out on this. What is the alternative? What can we do to still drive to still have something for people to get excited about? For runners and cyclists, the event, it's big things, because you get excited about it. It is race day. You get that race day feeling.
Yeah.
So we thought, what can we do to still get that, but without having people basically together? So we came up with the idea for the first one was a virtual run. So in short, it's basically a 5-kilometer run, and you track it with the fitness app Strava. So you can run wherever you want. You just have to run your 5 kilometers, upload it to Strava, and connect it with our event, and all the results basically pull through, and it's shown on a results list with your 5-kilometer time. So it's like participating in an event. You get a race number and all of that, but you're just not part of a big crowd and in close proximity with other people. So we saw big success with that. Our first virtual run we did during lockdown, and the first one we got about 14,000 entries, and the second one we hosted after lockdown, and we got 16,000 entries in that, and it was a great success, and a lot of very good feedback afterwards, with people saying that the event really motivated them to get active, to get out there. A lot of stories of people that did their first 5-kilometer run ever. So for us as a brand, yes, selling your product and all of that is important, but to build that community and to get people to get active, basically, and to hear those stories is great for us.
Yeah, I still remember that first one being, it was still in lockdown. I was running up and down in the driveway. Yeah, 5 kilometers, running 20 meters. It's quite hectic, but I was also so happy to get excited about it. So it's exactly like you say. And like you say, like the community is incredibly important. And it's such a great way and clever way to build that community, because you build a really good relationship with your customers.
That is one of the main parts for us, is to build that community. And I think that's where a lot of brands' success lies, is in exactly building that community. It's, if you're just a product and you just plug your product the whole time, it's not going to be it's not going to have a long-term effect on your clients. They maybe going to buy once or twice from you and they move on. But if you can build that community and really give back to your clients, then you've got them on your side, and it's a win-win for both.
Especially in this competitive environment. And we've seen the consumer trends changing, where the newer generations, the younger generations, don't really just want to buy something, because the switching cost is so low between different products. You really want value for your product. And I think, like, for example, this virtual run just creates so much value for Versus customers and potential Versus customers, where they just feel they're part of this, and there's extra value created behind the brand that they support. So it's absolutely fantastic.
Definitely. On that note, that's why we thought of, let's do free entries, get more people on board, and we got good partners, sponsors involved at our races. So there was a lot of added value to the client. You get a free entry, and you stand a chance to win a Garmin or ASICS shoes, or JBL units.
On the next ride, you stand a chance to win a bicycle.
Giant bicycle, yes, value of 43,000 Rand.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's enough to get anyone interested, especially for people who want to start exercising after lockdown, because I think that's also what happened in the lockdown. Everyone was like, I don't like going outside. I'd really like to have the option to go outside. So I think a lot of people are starting to exercise just because of lockdown.
Yeah, I also think with the gyms that's closed currently, so your options is now running or cycling. There's not much left, or training at your home. So that actually played a bit in our favor.
You can't really go for a swim anymore either.
Yes, so that actually played a bit in our favor, if I can say that. So I think there's a lot of new cyclists out there, new people to the sport, and even running outside. Where people usually went to the gym, now there's an alternative, or go run with your friends, go be outdoors.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think there's going to be a big uptick in sports equipment purchases, because especially like the easy entry sports like running, and well, cycling is a bit of a entry because you have to buy a bicycle. But I think there's going to be a lot of sales, and you know how people are, that when they started, I enjoy my first bike ride, let me buy 100,000 Rand bicycle. And then it starts getting hard.
That happens. We don't hold back on that. We still believe that sport is very important, and it makes you feel good. So
exactly,
if you have to spend money on it, then it's a good investment.
No, definitely. And my brother always jokes. He says, when you get the proper kit, you're suddenly fantastic. Like if you play golf, if you get golf shoes, you're going back down to scratch. But
there's definitely something around it. It's maybe that if you look good, you feel good.
Yes, that mentality.
Yes.
So you guys started this business, and obviously you have an entrepreneurial drive behind you, because to start a business, it is difficult. And like you said, you had to keep on going, and it was a year or two before you even got that big deal with Sportsman's Warehouse. Do you guys ever have any other ideas of businesses that you'd like to start?
It happens a lot. We see a lot of opportunities and we want to pursue them. But for us, the big thing that we always remind us, let's stay in our lane. Let's focus on socks. Let's be the best that we can be. Let's be a specialist in socks. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, it's so easy to put your name on anything, a cap or this or that. You must really keep focused. There's a lot of noise out there. And if we are not so focused on one product, then somebody is going to come past us. So the biggest thing for us is really to be super focused on socks and make sure that we launch the whole time new ranges, be on top of our game. Or otherwise, we don't want to saturate our energy with anything that maybe cannot work. So for now, we fully focused on socks. We want to be the best. And we still need a lot of work to be done. And then obviously, yes, we see a lot of opportunities. We will want to move into that spaces, but for now, we're still building the brand, and it still needs a lot of our own attention as well.
And I think, sorry, just to add on that, as Jurgen said, with other businesses and just with the noise out there these days, I think people must really try and make their businesses as specific and as niche as possible. A lot of times clients you don't want to confuse your client in what you're providing them with. You want to, when they look at your profile on social media, you want to grab their attention as quickly as possible, and that they actually know what your business is doing.
Yeah, definitely. Are there some opportunities that you feel free to share with the audience, so that they maybe can take them on?
It's difficult. I'll say the virtual events is quite big. We're looking into that, but we're not sure how's the future going to look. If physical events is going to carry on, is virtual running or virtual events still going to be relevant? I see a lot of opportunities on the virtual side, but it's also unknown, and who's going to take the risk on that side to build a business around it that maybe can. So for us, the safest option is still to keep our eyes on the ball.
Stay with the socks.
But I see a lot of potential. You can see a lot of new virtual events coming up, and obviously it's a lot of competition on the virtual space. But we enjoyed that. But it all depends what's going to happen with the market. And
we're still going to see, because I saw now, because Tour de France is virtual now, and I don't know, but it's not as entertaining as a real race.
No, there's nothing like a real race. And as I said earlier, with that race day feeling and being with other people, and there's an actual start and a finish line. So
and a smell.
We hope that real events will come back soon, but until then we'll have to do the virtual thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Also, let's get into this last round. I think we can just go Hanno, Jurgens, each one of you answer two of them. So Hanno, what was the top 3 challenges that you found in South Africa building Versus?
Overall, it's something that we talk about a lot. There is obviously challenges, and we can blame it on the government and whoever else we want to.
Yeah.
But overall, it's to stay positive is very important for us. You can always look at the negatives, but the positives is also out there. A challenge for us was probably that straight from university we started the business. So it can be a negative or a positive, but we were new in business and didn't really have all the knowledge. So we definitely made some mistakes, but we only see that we made if we look back now, we only see the mistakes now. But in that time, we basically did what we thought were right, and at that stage, it was probably also the right way to go. So there's not, I can't give you three specific things. I think it's a thing of take things as it comes, and you sort out the problems when they come.
Yeah, no, definitely. And as you say, I think a lot of people struggle because I think it's more important to make a decision than having no decision. Just
Exactly. And if you don't make that mistake, then you learn from that mistake as well. It can go either way. You can score a lot or you can lose, and if you lose, you learn from it and you move along, and you know not to make that mistake again.
definitely. So Jurgens, if you would start a apparel brand now again, how will you approach starting the brand? Will you take the similar approach or would you do something different?
Definitely, I will take a different approach. A lot of, I know myself, we were quite new in the market 2015. We started with nothing, and it's difficult if you don't have a budget to spend it on.
Yeah.
Definitely, if we got some more capital starting a new brand, I will definitely start. I mean, you will start with more expertise, a better online store. Like school fees we paid in the beginning, I will, from the stuff that we've learned, we'll implement it in the next business. And definitely, there's a few tricks that we can do now. The stuff that we've learned to fast track us to potential growth or a new brand. It's, yes, we've learned a lot, and the knowledge that we've got now, we feel we can move into any space.
Yeah.
But yes, that's where we are on that one.
Fantastic. Hanno, what were some of your failures? Like you mentioned now, you made some mistakes and you're learning from that mistakes. What were some of those mistakes that you really found being really useful to learn from and that you can share to the audience that they don't make that same mistake?
It was a thing of as we didn't have the right suppliers for specific things, we'd make something for, let's give an example, we made stands for our socks so that we can put it in retailers, so there's a nice stand basically that we can put the socks on. But as we didn't have the expertise and the right suppliers, we went with something that we thought was fine. It cost us a lot of money to make all of these stands,
Yeah.
but then it didn't last. After a few months, we got complaints from the retailers and said the things are not holding up. It doesn't look nice anymore. So then we had to pull all of that and make a new batch from a different material. And then, yeah, so it's basically a thing of getting those right suppliers. But I think with social media and with Facebook groups and all of that, basically just asking people in your community for recommendations help a lot. You can easily and quicker get to the right contacts basically.
Yeah. So I understand. So how long would you say if you get a product, how long should you actually wait before you start sending it out? Like you said, so those stands you made, would you say you should have held them long, like tested them for like a while, and see what happens, or yeah, how do you actually manage that problem?
Yeah, so definitely you can sort it out by testing it. It is a thing of, as we said earlier, you want to get stuff to the market, and for us, it's also important to keep on moving and improving. So you can't also take months or years to think of something before you
Yeah.
implement it. So, but definitely to get samples to make sure, do some tests on this stuff will definitely help a lot in that case.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, Jurgens, do you actually, for both of you, do you have some tips that you would give to some students and young people who want to start a business in the apparel industry? Just like one tip that you would say, focus on that thing. Yeah.
I'll kick that one off. I think overall, I think the internet and it's with the youth as well, or anyone basically starting a business. The internet is such a valuable thing, and with social media out there, way back when you had to start a business, you maybe print flyers or make newspaper ads. Now you can start a social media page for free. You can make content with your phone. Everything you need is basically in your hand on your phone, and you can use that to your advantage. If you need an answer, if you need anything business wise, you can pop it into Google and get an answer. So overall, my advice would just be use the internet to your advantage and capitalize on it.
Fantastic.
Yes, I will also say social media is a big thing. That's our big passion, is marketing, social media strategy. We really like it. I will say also for the newcomers to the business world, entrepreneurs, like focus on what you are good at and do it very well, like double up on that skills that you've got. And then there's also a time to move on, like to get people in place, to outsource to people that's better in certain positions that your business really needs.
Yeah.
That's why it's also a big thing for ourselves. The first 2 years, the stuff we've done everything ourselves, and start to grow the business. We need people with the right skills and the right positions to grow the business. Otherwise, we will just keep ourselves busy every day, but the busyness won't grow the company.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. All right, gents, thank you so much for this fantastic time we've had.
Cool.
Thanks a lot for having us on the podcast.
Thanks.
Fantastic. That was Hanno and Jurgens from VersusSocks. Make sure to go check out their online platform. Go check them out on Instagram. Go check out FinChat Co. on Instagram. Go check out our links. Maybe subscribe to our newsletter. Subscribe to where your podcast is found. Leave us a favorable review. We look forward to your comments and recommendations. So make sure to drop them in the comments. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.